Hello everyone, my name is Jill Azorczyk. The topic that I will be covering in this essay is cows and climate. I chose this topic for my essay because I had some familiarity with the subject, however, I still had some initial questions I asked myself while starting my research. The first question I asked was, what exactly are cows contributing to the climate and climate change? Essentially, why are these subjects related? I had brainstormed a few ideas myself, and with some basic research came up with a few ideas. These were land usage, water and resources, and waste, specifically gas and manure. I kept this list in mind when doing my research to formulate what the problem or problems are in relation to climate change. The second question I asked was, how is the industry contributing to the climate and climate change? With this question, I wanted to ask how the industry's use of cows and how their management techniques are making this an issue, besides the cow itself. With research, I found that one of the big arguments is industrial farming versus the smaller family-run farms. I wanted to find the difference between the two and how they potentially affect this matter. I also wanted to research if the different management and feeding techniques of these farms could be the concern. Finally, I asked how all this relates to the food industry. This to me seemed to be a straightforward answer. These farms provide our meat and dairy needs, but to keep up with demand while being environmentally conscious is something that could potentially be worked on. One of the big problems with cows is the greenhouse gases they produce. Cows are the number one agricultural source of greenhouse gases, contributing roughly 14.5% of carbon emissions. The research that caught my attention, though, was in regards to methane. Methane is actually 28 times more potent than carbon emissions, and cows release 30 to 50 gallons per day of it, almost 220 pounds per year for one cow. Plus, methane, along with nitrogen and phosphorus, is also released into the soil through manure, which can be a problem with runoff. Suddenly, water systems are contaminated with these gases. The other big problem with cows is land use. 26% of usable land is devoted to livestock, and 1/3 of land is used to feed that livestock. Because of this, we have seen deforestation around the world to make room for more fields and pastures. Combating these two problems could be the best way to reduce a cow's impact on the climate. Through my research, I found several solutions for this. One solution is to implement managed grazing techniques, controlling the pastures that are used, how much they are used, and when they are used can be cost effective, saving up to $640 billion in operational costs. Using limited livestock manure management and rotational grazing can help in operational costs, and it can save on land use. Saving on land can prevent deforestation and can reduce carbon emissions through the trees that absorb this carbon. It can also replenish the soil, allowing for more environmentally friendly conditions and once again reducing operational costs on fertilizers and other nutrients for the soil. The other solution is feed management. There have been quite a few studies on how adding a supplement could reduce methane emissions that are released as gases from the manure. Adding foods that are digested more easily could also reduce the portion of gases produced. One study found making 1% of the cow's diet seaweed reduced methane output by 60%. The difference between factory farms and small farms could also be a solution to reducing carbon and methane emissions. Factory farms produce lots of pollution and waste compared to the smaller farms. They also have an increased demand of resources, one of them being more land to produce more feed. Family farms can manage waste and pastures more efficiently, making them more environmentally friendly. The most interesting solution, however, is managing the microbiome of cows. There are hundreds of species of bacteria existing in a cow's gut. Scientists have started researching into how altering the bacteria species present in a cow's gut can affect methane production. Not all cows have the same microorganisms, and they produce different amounts of gases. Finding the right microorganisms that produce less methane and breeding cows to have this mixture of gut microflora can significantly reduce methane emissions as well. Overall, in my research, I found that there were quite a few solutions to how a cow's impact on climate can change for the better. The food industry uses cows for meat and dairy products, and that industry is only expected to increase. In order to continue meeting these demands, but in an environmentally friendly way, these solutions can be implemented, and they are able to not only reduce emissions, but save money as well. Thank you.